Hi guys, so today we are going to be focusing on topic 3, lesson 4, and our target for this lesson is to use variables to write algebraic expressions. Okay, so our first vocabulary term is algebraic expression. An algebraic expression is a mathematical phrase that consists of variables, numbers, and operation symbols. All right? So the main difference between our expressions we've been working with and now our algebraic expressions are that they contain variables. So some examples on the right, x minus 7, n plus 2, 5d. 5d, when you have a number next to a variable, that is multiplication. So 5 times d is another way to write that. Or we can also write it with our parentheses, 5d. Those are both other ways that you can represent that, okay? So when you have a number next to parentheses, you multiply. When we have our raised dot, we multiply. And when we have a number next to a variable, we multiply. Our next example, 4 divided by x. We can also write this as 4 divided by x as a fraction. Remember that fractions mean division, okay? So if I had 20 divided by 5, 20 over 5 as a fraction, I would know that that simplifies to 4. But most of the time, when I have a normal fraction, I want to keep it that way as I solve through because it makes it easier when you're multiplying and things to see what your end result is rather than having a decimal. Then our last example is 2 times the quantity of x plus 6. So those parentheses, when we say that in mathematical terms, we say 2 times the quantity of x plus 6. Okay, times the quantity means parentheses. All right, our next vocabulary term here is variable. A variable is a letter or symbol that represents an unknown quantity. So I have listed here examples x, n, and d that are used above in our first box. This is the main reason why we have started using that raised dot for multiplication, because our x is now a variable. It now represents an unknown number. So we don't want to get that confused with our multiplication symbol and a variable. So we're strictly using raised dots for multiplication. Our third vocabulary word is term. Term is a number variable or the product of a number and one or more variables. Terms are separated by plus and minus signs only, okay? So when we look at our first example, we have 3x plus 4y. 3x would be one term, 4y would be a second term. So we have two terms total here. That addition symbol in the middle separates our terms, okay? I'm going to do another example off to the left here so you can see what else we could do. So we could have 3 plus x minus 1 times 10. Okay, so we have 3. We look, oh, there's an addition symbol, so that's one term. X, oh, a subtraction symbol, another term. 1, a multiplication symbol, so this all stays together here, okay? So we have 3 terms. All right? So only addition and subtraction symbols can break up our terms. I'm going to do one more example. 3 plus x times Okay. Plus 1. Okay. Over here we have 3. Oh, addition symbol, 1 term. So I see my parentheses, and I see a subtraction symbol in those parentheses. But those stay together because parentheses cannot, everything that's in a parentheses, whether we have addition or subtraction in them, it stays as 1 term. As I continue on, I see multiplication symbols, so this is all staying as 1 term. And then addition symbol breaking up our 1. So we also have 3 terms here. So it's very important to know that when we have parentheses, we stay together as 1 term. And then we also move on to our 4/10 because we have multiplication symbol there. Okay? And our 4th and final new term is coefficient. So I'm going to scroll down a little bit here. If you need to go back, rewind, go ahead. I'm going to erase and scroll down. All right, so the number that is multiplied by a variable is called the coefficient. This is the number multiplied by a variable. So when I look at our example, 3x plus 4y plus 12. So there's a 3 here in front of the x. Our coefficient there is 3. That is the number being multiplied by the variable. When I continue on, I see another variable y. Our 4y, our 4 is our other coefficient because that's what's being multiplied. Okay? So now we're going to use these vocabulary terms that we've just learned, and we're going to do some example problems identifying parts of expressions. So example 1, Tyler's sister Taylor bought mystery books for $6.50 each. Show 2 ways to write an algebraic expression that represents the total cost of the mystery books. Okay, so we first need to figure out what variable, what letter we want to represent the amount of mystery books she buys. I'm going to use B because books, B, that's a pretty easy way to remember it. So I'm going to write a sentence, let B represent the number of books Taylor buys. Okay? Let B represent the number of books Taylor buys. And we know that the books cost $6.50 each. So one way we can write this is $6.50 times B. Okay? Remember, when we have a variable right next to our coefficient, our first term, that shows multiplication. One book costs $6.50, so if we had 3 books, we would do $6.50 times 3 to see our total cost. The other way we could write it is using, whoops, let me erase that real quick. Using our raised dot, so $6.50 times B. Those are our 2 ways to represent that algebraic expression. That's our final answer because we don't know how many books she bought yet. We just need the expression so that we can, in the future, see how much it would cost. Practice number 2, we are going to write an algebraic expression to represent 8 minus the quantity of B divided by 6. Okay, so 8 minus the quantity, so we have parentheses, of B divided by 6. Remember that fractions mean division. Or we could do 8 minus the quantity b divided by 6, whichever one you're more comfortable with. If you want to do a fraction, if you want to do the division symbol, either or is totally fine. So I'm going to look back up at practice number 1 for a minute, and I'm going to identify my different parts of the problem. So 650 is our coefficient. Okay? That is the number being multiplied by our variable, which then means that our variable is b. That's the letter that's being represented. Okay? That's our variable. So that is all for our notes for 3.4. I hope this helps you do your Math Excel and your other activities that we're going to complete. Feel free to go back and watch this video as many times as you need. It'll always be on our Google Classroom.